Yes, yes, good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, yesterday we had learned block 3. Okay, today we will learn about block 4. Okay, block 4. In block 4, we will have 3 units. Unit 11, 12, and 13. Like coming to unit 11. Unit 11 deals about legislative, executive, and judiciary control over administration. Okay, and unit 12 deals about citizen control, that is RTI. Okay, and unit 13 explains the union state administrative relations, that is division of powers, like constitutional devices to secure cooperation, central control over the states, and some of the commission's recommendations like Sarkaria Commission, Punji Commission, all those recommendations will be looked in unit 13. Okay. Now coming specifically to unit 11, that is legislative, executive, and judiciary control over administration. Okay. Here, what are the objectives of this? Coming to the objectives, after learning this, what are the objective means? Like we will know the assess the need for control over administration. That means the importance of control over administration. Then we will come to know about the method of legislative, executive, and judiciary control over administration. And then finally, we will come to know certain limitations and changing perspectives about the control of administration. That means how legislature and executive and judiciary are controlled. Okay. Coming to in like legislative control over administration, mm, like in any democratic country, like accountability and control are the main aspects of public administration. Like without this control, accountability and control, and what we call checks and balances, there is no, we cannot call this as democracy. Okay. um, Here the concept of accountability is derived from like they have exercised the power on the manner and the performance of the administrators. Okay, how they perform the power, how they take this responsibilities are taken here. Okay, like its main aim is to check wrong and arbitrary administrative actions. Okay, what is the importance of legislative, executive, and judicial control means? To check wrong and arbitrary administrative actions and to increase efficiency and effectiveness like of administrative process or administrative structure. So this is the main aim of control over administration. Like the accountability means like answerability and enforceability. Okay, uh, to and fro it should be accountability means to and fro it should be like according to like one of the public administration thinker LD White wrote the book Introduction to Public Administration. Like he told that power in a democratic society requires control, and greater the power, the more need for control. If there are more power, we need to control them more. Okay, thus control over administration is necessary to check the dangers of bureaucratic excess and facilitate correctiveness against diplomatic and despotic excess of power by public servants. So, due to this control only, like the correctiveness against despotism is seen of public servants. Without this, what we call control, need for control, there is no obligation or correctiveness. Okay. Then coming to like this administrative control, broadly there are two types of administrative control, namely that is internal and external control. Okay, the internal control means within the administrative machinery, okay, which operates from the within the administrative machinery only. Like the techniques of internal control over administration are somewhat like budgetary system, like personal management. Budgetary system, personal management comes under administrative machinery, and efficiency survey, professional standards, administrative leadership, hierarchical order, established rules and regulations, inquiries and investigations, annual confidential reports. All this comes under internal control. On the other hand, what means external control means like control means operates from outside of administrative machinery. Okay, like uh, like it is laid down by the constitution of external control over administration, that is the legislature, executive and judiciary. Okay, this part will be led in legislative, like unit 11, that is legislative, executive and judicial control over administration. See, what there is and why there is a need for control over administration means we all know that India is a democratic country. Not only India, in any democratic country, a government should exercise power through people, not from public servants. So to maintain those accountability, what we call accountability or control or responsibility or the checks and balances, like there is there must be control over those parts. Okay, like openness of governmental operations and a system of holding civil servants accountable for their actions and make the democracy real and functional, we need this control over administration tools and techniques. Okay, what is the legislative control over administration? Okay. Mm, like we all know that India is a parliamentary form of government. That means legislature is a supreme organ. That is like uh, the executive is the part and parcel. Okay, like the legislature consists of, we know that representatives of the people. Okay, they are responsible to the Lok Sabha. That is the main agenda of the parliamentary system. Okay, if there is an excess control over administration, it should hold accountability and responsibility. So then there is a need for control over the administration. Okay, legislature will affect the will of the people and acts as custodian of the interests of the executive. Okay, control of like interest of the people. So the executive will effectively implements those acts, and those were like look after by judiciary, interpreted. We can tell them as interpreted by judiciary. See, coming to legislative control over administration, how means general control like over the policies or programs or actions of the governments through questions, discussions, motion. We will in this in detail learn about in next ones. Like financial control through budget and audit, and detailed control over financial and administrative legislative matters through committees. Okay, then the parliament or state legislature is the custodian of public money and enacts policies related to governance and development of in India. Okay, the methods adopted by the parliament or state legislature can be broadly classified into two categories. Okay, that is built-in techniques like in parliamentary procedure and committees appointed by legislature. Okay, through parliamentary procedure and committees appointed by the legislature. Next, what are the methods? What are the methods of legislative control? Okay, Okay, legislative control over administration. What are the methods? Methods means like we have all those things. What? Question hour, 0 hour, half an hour discussion, short duration discussion, other discussions, motions, and calling attention motion. All those we will go in detail one by one. Okay. Question hour. Coming to question hour. Like question hour means something, but the right to ask questions for the first time by the right to ask the questions on it. This was first time introduced by the Act of 1892, and for acting supplementary questions, it was introduced through the 1909 Act. Just remember, 1892 Act and 1909 Act. This is like this question hour like represents a very powerful technique of parliamentary control over administration. Okay, here a question is a request by the member for an oral explanation of concerned minister. There is no need for written explanation. There is only oral explanation. Okay, but however, a notice of 10 days has to be given to a concerned minister before a question can be asked. Okay, see, like in a question hour, the questions which you raise should given a prior notice of 10 days to that minister. Okay, um, but if any but if a matter is urgent, then a short notice is enough. Okay, here the questions are classified into three categories, that are stirred question, unstirred question, and short notice. Okay, the questions marked with a star and are answered orally. Okay, these are starred questions. Okay, unstarred questions should get the written answers. Okay, then short notice question is one which is asked by giving notice less than 10 days. Okay, short notice questions are less than 10 days. Unstarred questions are get returned, and star questions are answered orally. Okay, these are the three different types in question hour. Okay, keep remember the first hour of every parliamentary sitting is slotted for this purpose only. Okay, whenever the parliament procedures, even you can watch in the parliament procedures live, first they will go through the question hours. Okay, this is related to question. Like here, some of on the floor only the ministers will answer those things. Next, coming to 0 hours. Okay, 0 hour, unlike the question hour, the 0 hour is not mentioned in the rules of procedure. Okay, question hour is mentioned in the rules of procedure, but 0 hour is not mentioned in the rules of procedure. It has been Indian innovation. Okay, it is not borrowed through any other constitutions. It has been an Indian innovation which is invented in 1962. Day back 1962, it is followed in India. Okay, uh, it is an informal device available to the members of legislature to raise matters without any prior notice. Okay, here prior notice is not given, but you go back to question number. There prior notice of 10 days will be given. Okay, here no prior notice will be given. Okay, here the 0 hour starts immediately after the question hour. And how long it lasts means till the agenda for the day. That means the regular business of the house is taken up. Till the regular business of the house is taken up, it will go on. The 0 hour will go on. Next, coming to half an hour discussion. Half an hour discussion means it is a discussion which has the matter of sufficient public importance. Okay, which is urgent. It is discussion half an hour discussion. Here the speaker can allot a 3 days. Okay, 3 days in a week. Just remember, maximum a 3 days in a week can a speaker allot for such type of discussions. Here there is no formal motion or voting before the house. Okay, just remember there is no formal motion or voting before the house. Here there is no formal voting and motion will be taking place. Okay. Next, short duration discussion. Coming to short duration discussion, like it is also known as 2 hour discussion. Why? Because it should not exceed more than 2 hours. Short means 2 hours. Just keep remember, short means 2 hour discussion. Here the MPs, that means the member of parliaments, can raise uh, such decisions on matter of urgent public importance. Okay. In coming to like half an hour discussion, it is public importance only. Here in a week only 2 days is allocated for short duration, but whereas half an hour discussion, there we allowed 3 days. Okay. Just these are difference, that's it. And here per day only 2 hours is the maximum time period to be allotted in short duration discussion. Okay. From which year this has been introduced? Means since 1953. Okay. This is related to short duration. Coming to some other important discussions are like inaugural speech of the president, that is motion of the thanks, and introduction of several bills for enactment of the laws, and introduction and passing of resolutions of like matters of general public interest. All this comes under some other important discussions which raise to discussions and debates to examine the and criticize the administration. Okay. Next, coming to motions, like how when these motions are introduced means when MP, when member of parliament feels that a particular matter or a particular report should be discussed in the house, then a motion will be brought in the house. Okay. A notice for such a motion has to be given with according to rules. What are those rules? Means like when a notice, when a member moves a motion, he may speak on it, or and so can other members also can speak with respect to it. Okay. For instance, some members moved a motion in both in parliament and legislature related to bifurcation of Andhra Pradesh. Okay, in the same way. Okay, coming to calling attention motion. Okay, this calling attention motion is like it is also an Indian invention, which makes the member can ask for an explanation or clarification from a minister which is on public importance. Okay. Next, coming to adjournment motion. Okay, adjournment motion means it is a device which enables the house to discuss matters of urgent importance, and if it is passed, the ordinary business of the house is adjourned. Okay. Here, if 40 or more members like supports it, it is considered passed and the matter is taken up for discussion. Okay. Here, like in adjournment motion, 40 members or more should pass the motion. If not, they will be not taking any further discussion. Here, a debate for adjournment motion takes place only for 3 hours. Okay. When the debate on the motion comes at the end of the specific time, the speaker closes the debate and puts the motion to vote. Directly, he puts the motion to the vote. Whether the points are discussed or not, it is irrespective of him. After the completion of 3 hours, it will be put behind the motion of vote. Okay. Next important one, calling. Next important one, no confidence motion. See here, no confidence motion is moved against the Council of Ministers as a nation hall or state legislative assembly. Okay. Here, individual members are also can be introduced no confidence motion. But once no confidence motion is passed, then the entire Council of Ministers should be resigned. Just keep remember, it is very important tool for legislative control over administration. Here, it needs a support of minimum 50 members. Okay. Adjournment motion means 40 members. Here, no confidence motion means 50 members. Okay. These are related to some legislative control over administration. And like some of the other control means like some resolutions, like a particular resolutions will be, and debates and discussions in the parliament. We will go through the parliament live debates, right? Those discussions and debates are like control over public money. That means how legislature control over administration through important segments like pre-budget control, post-budget control. All those budgetary allocations will be look like presentation of the budget, general discussion of the budget, voting the demands for grants, consideration and passing of the appropriation bill, and consideration and passing of financial bill. Like all this post-budget control is exercised by parliamentary finance commissions. What are those parliamentary finance commissions? Means public account committee, estimates committee, committee on public undertakings. Okay. And other important legislative control over administration means audit. How the audit is done means CAG. Okay. The CAG audits the government, all audits, to see whether the money is correctly allocated and was spent wisely and economically. Okay. And this CAG will submit like his report to the parliament. The parliament examines the report through its committee on public accounts. Okay. Next, coming to control over delegated legislation and committee appointed by the legislature. These are some of those things. Next, legislative control in presidential system. Okay, presidential, we know India follows parliamentary form of government. US follows presidential form of government. Okay, here like statutory definition of the organization. How the legislative control in the parliament means through the statutory definition of the organization, giving powers and duties of the administrative authorities, and the legislation lays down the policies, methods, and procedures, and legislature sanctioning the public expenditure through appropriate acts, fixing the purposes and the amounts of expenditure, passing tax legislation, examining the accounts and audits. Okay. Just 1 minute. Okay. Next, that means some other type of control means legislature's investigation, like appointing legislature committees, standing or selecting committees for investigating and administrative programs, like confirming or rejecting the appointing of higher ranking officials like departmental heads, ambassadors, and ministers. Okay. Next, other type of control over presidential form of government means like requiring administrators to report either past action or future plans to the committees of Congress. Okay, these are some other types of control over administration. That is presidential form of administration. Next, coming to executive control over administration. Okay, here what we will learn means like what are the methods. Method means ministerial control over administration, administrative control with the hierarchy, financial advisors, personal management and control, role of Niti Ayog, efficiency and survey, and delegated legislation. All those comes under the executive control over administration. Okay, what are those methods means? Like ministerial control. We all know that cabinet is an apex of executive branch of government of India. Okay, it is not only involved in policy making process, but also deeply interested in the execution also. Okay, like ministerial control means like ministers has control to see the policies are implemented correctly or not. Okay, here those are also verified by civil servants. Okay, here minister control the civil servants. These are important method how they control. Okay, coming to administrative control within hierarchy. Hierarchy means here we have various sections, right? From the head to secretary to a minister. All this hierarchy, like from the department to wing, Each wing will be kept under like joint secretary, and each wing is subdivided into divisions. In divisions we have deputy secretaries, and again these divisions are divided into branches. Okay, here branch we will have secretary or under secretary. Okay, and those branch will subdivide into sections. Okay, those sections are headed by section officer. All this administrative control within hierarchy comes under this. Okay. Next, financial advisors. What are financial advisors? Like finance ministry. Finance ministry send its own officers to each ministry who exercise control over expenditure by legitimacy, accuracy, and property of expenditure. Okay. Here, the financial advisor also advise the heads departments about the financial implications of the schemes and plans. Okay, this system of internal, what we call internal financial advisor, came into existence in 1955. Okay, next one, personal management control. Coming to personal management control, the Union government has established the Department of Personnel in the year 1970. Okay, here what is its main agenda means it look after the maintenance of common standards of recruitments, trainings, and what we call financing and formulating policies to govern the promotion, seniority, conduct, and discipline. All those related to like service conditions also will be looked after by personal management control. Okay, next coming to Niti Aayog, role of Niti Aayog. Here we all know Niti Aayog means National Institute for Transforming in India. Okay, it was framed by a resolution through Union Cabinet on 1st January 2015. Okay, it is nothing but replacement of Planning Commission. It is called as think tank of Government of India. Okay, what is its main aim means? The main aim is to achieve sustainable development and goals and to enhance the cooperative federalism by fostering the involvement of state governments. Okay, whereas planning commission means it is central oriented. Whereas coming to this Niti Aayog means here states also play an active role in framing the policies and programs or plans. Okay, here like the Prime Minister is ex officio chairman of the Niti Aayog. The permanent members of the governing council are the chief ministers of all the states, along with the chief minister of Delhi and Puducherry, and lieutenant governors of Andaman and Nicobar, and the vice president is nominated by the Prime Minister. Okay. Next is efficiency survey and organization and management and organization and method systems. Okay. Economic survey is what we call an important tool over administration. Work of an organization has to be measured, and the level of efficiency is determined here. Okay, like in recent years, that O&M method, that is organization methods system, is developed, which is also known as efficiency audit system. Okay, here a number of techniques are involved, like some of the important techniques like what we call organization survey, inspection, work simplification, what we call work measurement, automation, forms control, and filling operations. All this comes under O&M, that is organization and methods system. Next, delegated legislation. Delegated legislation is nothing but executive legislation only. Okay, it is also an important tool for executive control over. Okay, next, delegated legislation means like the legislature make laws in the skeleton form, and what we call authorizes the executive to fill in minor details. Okay, here the executive plays an important role, like in making rules, regulations, bylaws, which will be observed by the administrators in the execution of the law concerned. Okay. Next, delegated legislation, and coming to like some of the other means code of conduct, professional ethics, and self-regulations. Okay. All these what we call methods of exercising control, like code of conduct, professional ethics, is more an informal and self-regulatory mechanism. Okay. Like there, no method for formal control will be effective with fading away self-responsibility and commitment. Okay. No one will give this. It should be owned by self. Okay. These are related to executive control over administration. Next, coming to judicial control over administration. How judiciary is control over administration means all this: judicial review, statutory appeal, suits against government, suits against public officials, extraordinary remedies, public interest litigation, administrative tribunals. Okay, all this will come under the judiciary control over administration. Okay, we all know that judiciary, like judiciary control is very important. Like uh, legislative control is predominantly control public policy and public finance. Like judicial control ensures the legality. Okay, here the legal norms of administrative acts and thereby safeguard the constitutional and other statutory rights of citizens. Okay, in simple, like the control is exercised by the courts over administrative acts. Okay, that's it. Over the administrative act, the courts will exercise the control. That is Supreme Court, High Court, all this will exercise those control. Coming to what are the methods? Okay, the principal method or technique which control over administration are like judicial review, statutory appeals, suits against the governments, suits against the public officials, criminal public interest litigation, and administrative tribunals. Whereas coming to judicial review, here the judicial review implies the power possessed by the courts, like to pronounce upon the constitutional validity of the acts. That means, for suppose there is National Judicial Appointments Commission going on, like those was declared as null and void, right? Because it will interfere the independence of judiciary in the appointment. So like that, if they make any laws, they will go through those all activities and tell them as null and void. That comes under judicial review. Whereas coming to statutory appeal, here this arises when law itself provides that particular type of administrative action, the aggrieved party will have right to appeal to the courts. Okay, when this particular action is not provided by the law, then he may go to the court. Coming to suit against the government, like here we have several limitations, like varying from country to country regarding filing of suits against the government. Article 300 of the Indian Constitution specifies about the filing of suits against the government of India. Okay, just remember Article 300. Okay, next, suits against the public officials. Like in India, civil proceedings can be instituted against public officials. Okay, for anything done on his capacity after like giving 2 months notice only. Okay, when criminal procedures are being instituted against an official for the acts, like the president and governor is required. Otherwise, there is no. Coming to extraordinary remedies, like extraordinary remedies means we all know that, like habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibitionary, certiorari, and quaranto. All this comes under ex extraordinary remedies. Those all those are the some type of writs. Okay, coming to habeas corpus. What is habeas corpus means? Habeas corpus means like to produce the body. So to produce the body within the 24 hours. Like this writ is an order issued by the court against a person who has detained or to submit the orders. If the person, like if it is found that if the person is unlawful or illegally detained, then he will set free. Okay, coming to mandamus. What is mandamus means? It is a public, what we call it is public official, when public official fails to perform an act then it is violated, right? Then the right of the individual is to command, and he will be commanded to perform the act through this writ. Mandamus means nothing but command. Okay. Here, this can be issued to compel a court or tribunal to exercise its jurisdiction. Coming to prohibition, what is prohibition means? Like through what authority? Okay. Like prohibition, while mandamus commands activity, prohibition commands inactivity. Okay. This writ can be issued only against judicial and quasi-judicial authorities. Next, coming to certiorari. Certiorari means it is remedial and curative. It literally means to certified off. Okay. Let's see. Like when a judiciary or quasi-judicial authority has exercised jurisdiction, the writ is issued to quash the order or the decision of the authority. Okay. Coming to quo warrant. Quo warrant means by what authority did you claim that? Okay. When a person acts in the public office, which is he is not entitled to act, then it will be inquired into the legality of the claim of the person in that office. That is called as quo warranto. Next we have injection. Injection is of two types that are mandatory and preventive. Mandatory injection resembles the writ of mandamus. Okay, while preventive injection will represent or resembles the writ of prohibition. Like through this injection, the public official can be restrained from doing a thing which is to be done. Okay, means doing restriction of doing things. Injection means like coming to public interest litigation. Okay, this public interest litigation, we all know the PIL. We will call this PIL. In recent times, the Supreme Court and High Courts are allowing the representatives and petitions from the members of the public through like postcards or even newspaper editorials. They can go through this public interest litigation. Okay. Next one, administrative tribunals. Coming to administrative tribunals, like in 1976, the Constitution was amended for the establishment of administrative tribunals under Article 326A. For what they have established means to adjudicate the disputes and complaints with respect to the recruitment and conditions of service of public personnels. Okay. The Central Administrative Tribunal was first set up in 1985. Its functions are to attend the disputes like concerning the recruitment conditions of the service members, all India services, and central services. Okay. Those are related to judicial control over administration. Next, coming to limitations. What are those limitations? What are the limitations of the control over administration? Okay. Limitation means like the legislative and judiciary will have some certain limitations. Okay. Like towards the control of administration. The legislative control is more like theoretical than practical. It is mostly political in nature. Legislative means we know that is political in nature. Legislature like has neither time or expertise to control over the administration also. Thus we can say that legislature is being a layman that cannot understand the technical nature of the complex like cities involved in the financial matters. Okay. The financial committees also examines the public expenditure after it incurred by the executive. Okay. Coming to in case of judiciary, all administrative acts are not subject to judiciary control, as the legislature may exclude certain matters of jurisdiction of the high courts. Okay. Next, coming to what are the changing perspectives. Okay. Changing perspectives of the governance. Like we have going through many changes, like in public administration we have gone through like public governance, which is under the new public management, or reinventing government, or re-engineering government. We are seeing so many changes. Like according to Hay, the contemporary changes in governance towards efficiency, outcome, and competition, value for money, managerial methodological challenges to control. All this will challenge to the control. Okay, under the new public management regime, like many developing and developed countries have shifted their policy like from process oriented to result oriented performance, with increasing focus on outcome rather than inputs. Okay, it also become result oriented administration, like quite attractive. Okay, this is related to this control over administration. Okay, legislative control over administration, executive control over administration, and judicial control over administration. Okay, in the next unit, it is a small unit. We will go through what we call the citizen control. That is Right to Information Act. Okay, Okay. Here we will learn about the objectives, the institutional arrangement in global scenario, that is ombudsman, what we call administrative courts, that is procurator, parliamentary commissioner. Next, institutional arrangements in Indian scenario, that is CBI, CVC, Lokpal Lokayukta, citizen charters, and Right to Information Act. Then we will go through right to information, democracy, all this contemporary relevance. We will go through this. Okay, coming to what are the objectives means. Here we will learn and identify the need for interaction the citizens with the administration. Okay, the importance of citizens with administration interaction. Next, we will describe the different institutional mechanisms for redressal grievances at global and national level. Okay, we will identify the significance of RTI also here. Okay, all this will be dealt in this unit. Okay, what are the institutional arrangements? Okay, before that we will go to citizen administration interaction. Why there is a need? What there is a need means because like the interactions could be like client oriented or regularities or legitants or participants, whether it in any form. There is a need for what we call citizen control, like for governmental agencies or citizen will obtain the benefits and services from governmental agencies. Okay, public interacts with many public organizations. Okay, through the process there will go many changes, so there is a need for citizen and administrative interaction also. Next, what are the institutional arrangements at global level? Okay, coming to some of the institutional arrangements at the global level. Okay, first we will ombudsman. Okay, what is ombudsman means, like its idea was taken from, first idea was through Scandinavian countries. Scandinavian countries go through the concept of ombudsman. Here we will go through an author called Donald C. Rowath. He is an international authority called ombudsman as like uniquely appropriate institution for dealing with average citizens complaints about unfair administrative actions. Okay, he defined that ombudsman in that way. Okay, coming to like this was first created in Sweden. Okay, in the year 1809, ombudsman was first created in the year 1809 in Sweden. Okay, next, this ombudsman is a statutory post and is incumbent, is politically independent to the legislature. Okay, he acts as politically independent. Next, traditionally the appointment is made on like unanimity principle with all the political parties supporting the proposals. Okay, but here the ombudsman has right to investigate the control over the courts or administrative what we call agencies. The ombudsman can usually take up the cases of the complaints, appeals against the administrative decisions also. Okay, those are related to ombudsman, which is in Sweden. Okay, next, administrative courts. This type of administrative courts, like administrative court, is nothing but another name of ombudsman. Okay, ombudsman is called as in Sweden, and administrative courts is called in French system. Okay, French system of administrative courts. Here also the same thing of ombudsman which is seen in like Sweden is seen in French also. But like a distinction is made between the acts for which the government servant is personally liable. Okay. This administrative court was like further spread from French to Greece, Belgium, Turkey. Here, the administrative courts are empowered to either what we call administrative annual administrative decisions or recognize the extension of subjective right to obtain appropriate grievance redressal. Okay, these are important points related to administrative courts. Next, coming to pro procurator. Here, this type is seen in USSR. It is in resemblance to ombudsman and administrative courts. Like the then socialist countries like USSR, Czechoslovakia, Hungary, Poland, Romania have their own institutions. Those are called as procurator. Okay. Like the procurator, the responsibility process the complaint submitted and ensures the legality in the administration. Okay. Next, coming to parliamentary commissioner. Okay. Different countries have different names, right? So here, parliamentary commissioner means like British ombudsman system. Okay, British ombudsman system is called as parliamentary commissioner for administrator. In the year 1969, the UK's parliamentary commissioner is visualized in this act as an assistant to the individual members of parliamentary in the task of obtaining addresses of grievances suffered by their constituents hands of the governments. The same thing which ombudsman administrative procurator gives here, the parliamentary commissioner will be given. Next, what is institutional arrangements? Like institutional arrangements like CBI, Central Bureau of Investigation, which is set up in 1963 by resolution of Ministry of Home Affairs. Okay, but now it is presently under Ministry of Personnel and enjoys the status of an attached office. This establishment of CPI was recommended by whom? By Santanam Committee on Prevention of Corruption Act in 1962 to 63. Remember that CBI is not a constitutional body and not a statutory body. Okay, it is just established by an resolution. Okay, coming to CBI. We all know CBI is a main investigating agency of central government. It plays important role in preventing corruption and maintaining integrity in the administration. Okay, next, it also provides assistance to Central Vigilance Commission, that is CVC, Central Vigilance Commission. Here, Central Vigilance Commission main agenda is also to prevent corruption in the central government. It is also established in 1964. CBI is established in 1963. Same, it is also recommended by Santanam Committee. CVC is also not a constitutional body or a statutory body. It is a multi-member body. Like it is appointed by the President of India under his warrant, under his seal and hand and seal. All this comes under Central Vigilance Commission. Next, coming to Lokpal and Lokyukta. The Administrative Reform Commission in 1996 recommended a two-tier machinery of Lokpal and Lokayukta for the grievance redressal of citizens. Okay, the same thing how what we call ombudsman system is present in Scandinavian countries. Parliamentary Commissioner present in Britain. In the same way, ARC recommended Lokpal and Lokayukta in Indian scenario. Okay. Like Lokayukta was appointed by the President of India after consultation with the Chief Justice of India. Lokayukta is like institutions in the states, primarily focused for corruption and administrative delays in the state only. The governor will appoint the Lokayukta and Upayukta in consultation with the Chief Justice of the High Court. Okay, those are some important matters relating to Lokpal and Lokayukta. Coming to citizen charter, we all know that citizen charter. Citizen charter means like it shows like demands of from the government and other services that can provide the degree of accountability, transparency, quality, and choice of the servants made Okay, all those things are like shown in citizen charters. It forms a good relationship between the citizens and administrations also. Okay. Next, last one, last important thing through institutional arrangements of Indian scenario, that is Right to Information Act. We all know Right to Information Act came into force on the date 2005. Okay. Like the Indian Parliament passed Right to Information Bill on 11th May 2005 and came into effect on 12th October 2005. Like it is a comprehensive act which includes provisions for independent appeals, penalties, and compliance, and proactive disclosure and clarity, simplicity of information access process. All this comes under Right to Information Act. Okay, right to information and evolution of information will and democracy. Coming to what we call uh, evolution of right to information. Here, the Janata Party in 1977 thought about like an open government. From the 1977 onwards, it is going on. Like previously, there used to be what we call Official Secrets Act in 1923. So, by removing those official secret as many of the Indian what we call Indian Prime Minister made effort for this passing of Right to Information Act. But finally, like even the government of India has established the working group on what we call right to information and promotion of open and transparent government in 1997. Even the working group accepted the broad goals, some of the broad lines, like what we call principles. Those are disclosure of information should be a rule and secrecy of the exception. Exception should be clearly defined. All those were termed in 1997 only. But the act was officially passed in 1990, sorry, 2005. Okay. Coming to what are the main features? What are the main features of Right to Information Act? Like the act confers that right to information means not just a record of records or documents. Like it means it is like permitting the inspection of public works, accessible, what we call accessible information, the constitution of Central Information Commission, State Information Commission, proactively disclose the information, appointment of public information officers and assistant public information officers. Information must be requested in writing, like including emails, and the request must be submitted to PIO, that is Public Information Officer. All those comes under some important, like even the act exempt providing certain categories of information, like those included cabinet papers, central intelligence and security agencies, etc. Okay. Even what we call like if a person who desires to seek information from a public authority is required to send along an application, a demand draft, or a banker's check, or a postal Indian postal order of 10 rupees and payable to account officer of public authority as fee prescribed for seeking information. Okay. If the application is not accompanied by the prescribed fee, below poverty line people are exempted from this one. Okay. Every PIO, public information officer, can be penalized 250 rupees per day and up to maximum of 25,000 for not accepting the application. Okay. Delaying information releasing without reasonable cause and providing incomplete, incorrecting, or misleading information. Through all these informations, the PIO should pay those money. Okay. These are some important points relating to this Right to Information Act. Okay. In the next class, we will deal the Union State administrative relations. Okay. Okay, then thank you.